That perfect cabin you're eyeing for your 2026 cruise? It might actually be a disaster waiting to happen. Most people think avoiding the elevator is enough, but on modern ships, the traps are much worse. I'm talking about hidden white spaces that create 24-hour noise, aft balconies covered in oily engine soot, and new infinite verandas that can literally turn your room into a humid sweatbox. Deck plans rarely tell the whole truth, so before you lose thousands of dollars on a sleepless vacation, here are the 15 cabin locations you need to strictly avoid and the specific layout traps that are catching everyone off guard. Let's save your trip. Number 1. Cabins below the gym. We have to start with the classic mistake made most often. You might look at the deck plan, see the fitness center above you, and think, great, the motivation to work out will be right there, or maybe the room is empty during the day, so it doesn't matter. Here is the reality. These facilities open early. Many now operate 24 hours or open as early as 5 a.m. Even on the newest ships with good soundproofing, it is impossible to block impact noise. And modern ships have made this even worse. It's not just treadmills anymore. Many modern ships have added CrossFit zones and heavy weightlifting platforms. Passengers are reporting hearing dead drops, where heavy weights are dropped on the floor, creating a thud that vibrates right through the ceiling. It isn't just the weights, it's the constant pounding rhythm of multiple treadmills running at the same time. If you are a light sleeper or prefer to sleep in on vacation, check the deck above immediately. If there are treadmills or a squat rack, run the other way. Number 2. Directly under the pool. Right next to the gym is another danger zone that is arguably even worse, the Lido deck. During the day, the muffled sound of the band, movies, or kids splashing is usually manageable. The real nightmare begins at sunrise. Every morning, often around 5 a.m., the deck crew starts resetting the outdoor area. They unstack hundreds of heavy loungers and drag them across the wood or metal floor to set up for the day. Since the deck is washed down beforehand, those chairs scrape across a wet, hard surface, creating a piercing resonance that travels straight through the ceiling. What's worse on the newest megaships is that the pool deck has become a near 24/7 venue. Late-night DJ parties, themed events, outdoor movies, live music, and after-hours hot tub crowds can keep noise going until midnight or later. Then, only a few hours later, the morning setup begins again. Some ships also place jogging tracks, water play zones, splash pads, or party terraces directly above staterooms, adding constant foot traffic and running impact. Always study the deck plan. If the cabin is under the pool, buffet seating, or the jogging track, it's in the noise splash zone. Noise doesn't just come from overhead. Sometimes it comes from the very venues designed to entertain you. Number 3. Cabins near entertainment venues. If silence is valued, extreme care is needed here. Specifically, avoid locations directly above or below the theater, the nightclub, the piano bar, or the main lounge. The problem on modern ships isn't just volume, it's base technology. Cruise lines now use immersive audio systems with oversized subwoofers. Voices might be blocked by insulation, but low-frequency bass travels straight through the ship's steel frame. If the disco runs until 2 a.m. and your cabin is on top of it, the bed won't just be noisy, it will vibrate. Earplugs can block sound, but they cannot stop vibration. And it's not only nighttime. Rehearsals, sound checks, and even aerial training sessions happen in the afternoons. So forget about a quiet midday nap if you're anywhere near a main venue. Finally, beware of atrium bleed. Newer ships feature multi-deck open atriums, like the one on the Sun Princess, where live music, DJ sets, and evening performances echo upward for several floors. If your cabin is near one of these open spaces, expect sound to travel straight into your room long after midnight. Those are the obvious noise sources, But there is a silent killer on the deck plan, areas that look empty on the map but are actually full of noise. Number 4. Near crew access areas. When looking at a deck plan, you see the cabins, the elevators, and the stairs, but take note of those big blocks of white space in the middle of the ship. That is the vessel's nervous system, its crew stairwells, luggage elevators, and housekeeping pantries. This is where the stewards meet, swap shifts, and store their carts. If the cabin door is directly opposite one of these staff-only doors, expect a noisy week. That heavy fire door will slam shut 200 times a day, accompanied by the clinking of glassware and room service carts at all hours. The most dangerous time is the last night of the cruise, luggage night. This is when thousands of suitcases are collected and moved through these service elevators. The noise from rolling carts and shouting crew members can go on until 2 a.m. Always try to book a cabin surrounded by other cabins, not mystery white space. And speaking of hallway noise, there's one more layout trap to watch for. Even though modern elevator machinery is quiet, the people aren't. A cabin that opens directly onto the elevator lobby can mean hearing every ding, every late-night conversation, and every excited group returning from the show at 1 a.m. You don't need to be far from the elevators. Just avoid rooms that face the lobby head-on. A few cabins down or around the corner is usually perfect. Number 5. Near anchors, thrusters, and gangways. If you're on a lower deck toward the front of the ship, be aware of the mechanical noise in this area. Traditionally, the biggest issue was the anchor. When the ship tenders offshore, the anchor is dropped at dawn, and the grinding of the massive chain and hydraulics can echo through the hull with a force that feels like the ship is being shaken apart. But on many newer ships, anchoring has been replaced by dynamic positioning. Instead of dropping anchor, the ship uses side thrusters to hold itself in place. These thrusters can run for hours at a time, creating a steady rumble and vibration that's especially noticeable in forward and aft lower deck cabins. Nearby gangways can be equally disruptive. Cabins next to passenger exit areas often hear the ding of security scanners, early morning announcements, and the rush of disembarking crowds starting around 7 a.m. So we've covered noise, which attacks the ears, but what about the cabins that attack equilibrium? If you are prone to motion sickness, these next 3 are critical. Number 6. Forward-facing balconies. This is becoming a huge issue on newer ships like the NCL Prima and Viva. These are the balcony cabins or suites at the very front. You imagine Titanic-style views, but here is the problem: physics. When the ship is moving at 20 knots, the wind over the bow is intense. On many sea days, the wind is so strong that you literally cannot open the balcony door. It creates a wind tunnel effect that can suck the papers right off the desk and slam interior doors shut. Often, the crew will actually lock these doors for safety during high speeds to prevent damage to the mechanism. Additionally, because the bow crashes into the waves, these balconies are often covered in sea spray. Instead of a dry, relaxing lounge area, you often end up with a wet, salty, unusable deck. You are paying a premium for an outdoor space that can only be used when the ship is parked. Number 7. Far forward cabins. Speaking of the front of the ship, let's talk about standard rooms in this zone. A ship moves like a seesaw. The center, midship, is stable. The ends move the most. Booking a cabin at the very nose means feeling the pitch. That is the rise and fall of the ship crashing over waves. In rough seas, this isn't just a gentle sway. It can feel like a slamming sensation as the bow hits the water. Going high and forward creates the compound effect of pitching and rolling. If there is even 1% sensitivity to motion sickness, do not let a travel agent recommend this location just to save $50. The savings won't be enjoyed if you are in the bathroom the whole time. Also, consider the walking distance. Being far forward often means a 15-minute hike to the dining rooms, which are usually located at the back of the ship. Number 8. Aft Cabins. On the completely other end of the ship, Many people love the wake view. It is beautiful, but it's important to know about the shudder and the soot, especially on older ships or when the captain uses the side thrusters to dock. The back of the ship can vibrate intensely. It's not a swaying motion, it's a mechanical vibration that rattles the hangers in the closet and shakes the water in the glass. But the lesser-known issue is soot fallout. The ship's smokestacks are constantly emitting exhaust. Depending on the wind direction and the aerodynamics of the ship, that black oily soot can swirl down and land on the aft balconies. Passengers often wake up to find their deck chairs and drying swimsuits covered in little black specks. If you are sensitive to vibration or want a pristine balcony, stay away from the stern. Now, changing gears from how the ship moves to how the ship smells, because yes, smell is a huge factor in cabin selection. Number 9. Near the galley. Industrial kitchens on cruise ships run 24/7 and smells travel via vents. Being directly above the main dining room or the buffet lines often means getting hit with the smell of frying oil, bacon, or onions. While food smells nice when hungry, waking up to the smell of heavy grease at 5 a.m. is nauseating for many people. But there is a secondary issue with being near the galley: noise. These kitchens have hard tile floors. The waiters and chefs push heavy metal carts filled with plates and food supplies. That rumble, rumble, rumble of hard wheels on hard tile transmits directly through the ceiling. Check for that white space on the deck plan that indicates a kitchen area to avoid both the smells and the rolling carts. Number 10. Near smoking areas. For many travelers, this is one of the biggest offenders. Cruise ships have designated smoking zones, usually on one side of the pool deck or the promenade, but smoke rarely stays confined to those areas. It rises, drifts with the wind, and sticks to humid air. Booking a balcony cabin one deck above or slightly aft of a smoking section can leave your outdoor space smelling like a chimney. Even with the balcony door closed, drafts or loose seals can occasionally pull that odor into the room. A growing concern on modern ships is indoor smoke, especially from casinos. Some cruise lines are smoke-free, but others still allow smoking in specific casino zones. Cabins directly above the casino or the newer promenade view rooms located near casino entrances can experience spillover as smoke travels through hallways, ventilation paths, and elevator lobbies. If the ship has a cigar lounge, be even more cautious. Cabins above its exhaust vents often report noticeable odor, especially on warm or humid sea days. Sometimes the problem isn't sensory at all. It's about privacy and the actual layout of the room. Number 11. Internal balconies and neighborhood view. Royal Caribbean popularized these interior-facing cabins that overlook the ship's maul, and the concept has exploded with the rise of megaships like Icon of the Seas and MSC World Europa. On paper, rooms facing the promenade, boardwalk, Central Park, or Surfside sound charming. In reality, the experience changes the entire dynamic of the cabin. First, understand the fishbowl effect. Across the street is another cabin staring right back at you, and below are crowds of passengers walking by. Forget to close the curtains, and people will see things they shouldn't. Light pollution is another issue. The promenade's neon signs and floodlights glow through any imperfect blackout curtain, making true darkness impossible. Noise is the final deal breaker. Neighborhoods like Surfside host splash pads, shows, and festivals all day long. If you value midday naps or privacy without living in the dark, these cabins can be a disaster. Number 12. Connecting rooms. Next is a layout trap marked with a little double arrow icon on the deck plan. Unless you are traveling with the people next door, avoid this. The door connecting these rooms is not soundproofed like a real wall. It has a gap at the bottom. You will hear the neighbor's TV, their coughing, their arguments, and their private moments. Additionally, light often bleeds under that door. There is also a functional downside: loss of wall space. In a standard cabin, that wall might have a sofa or a dresser. In a connecting room, that space is taken up by a door you can't use. This forces the furniture layout to be more cramped. It is a lose-lose situation unless both rooms are booked together. Number 13. Obstructed view cabins. These can be a smart way to save money. Sometimes the obstruction is just a small cable or support beam, but in many cases the blockage is far more dramatic. Some cabins look directly at a massive orange lifeboat sitting only inches from the glass, turning your ocean view into a week of staring at fiberglass. Newer ships introduce another issue: window washing tracks and gantries. These large metal rails and cleaning arms can block a surprising amount of the view and may add occasional noise when the equipment moves. There are also cabins that face crew walkways or maintenance decks, where crew members pass by throughout the day. That setup removes both the view and your privacy, since you can't leave the curtains open without someone walking past your window. Before booking one of these cabins, just to save money, always search online for real photos. Type the ship name and cabin number into Google. Deck plan drawings rarely show the full truth. While obstructed views are an old problem, this next cabin type is a new innovation that many cruisers are starting to hate. Number 14. Infinite Verandas. A new cabin style causing massive regret is this enclosed balcony design found on Celebrity's Edge class and the new icon of the seas. Marketing sells this as bringing the ocean into the room and getting more square footage. In reality, it is just a window that slides down. The problem is the sensor technology. If that window is opened, the AC automatically shuts off to conserve energy. In the Caribbean summer, the room goes from cool to a humid sweatbox in 3 minutes. If you want to listen to the ocean while you sleep, you can't, unless you want to sleep in 90% humidity. Plus, many passengers report the electric mechanism is slow and loud. If a traditional balcony experience is desired, sitting outside while keeping the room inside cool, make sure an infinite veranda isn't booked by mistake. We have covered specific noisy locations, motion zones, and design flaws, but there is one final mistake that combines all these risks into one. Number 15. Guaranteed rooms. All of these bad locations lead us to the final and biggest booking gamble. This is when you pay a lower rate and let the cruise line pick the room for you. Here is the hard truth. When the cruise line assigns these cabins, they aren't giving away prime midship real estate. They are giving away the leftovers, the rooms under the gym, the ones with connecting doors, the ones beside the anchor machinery, or the cabins directly above noisy venues. And with ships sailing at or near full capacity these days, the leftover inventory is often more limited and more undesirable than ever. There is also a myth called the upgrade fairy, where people believe booking a guaranteed inside room might magically turn into a balcony or even a suite. That almost never happens anymore. You get exactly what you pay for. If you are a solo traveler on a last-minute cheap trip, sure, go for it. But for a family vacation where sleep and sanity matter, do not play this game. You will likely lose. Now, what about you? Have you ever booked a cabin that you kind of regretted or just wouldn't book again? Let everyone know the ship and room number in the comments below. If this guide was helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the other videos on the channel for more cruise tips. Happy cruising!